Hello everybody, it's Lanka News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So the first news is coming from Russia. So we've got news that Russia recently conducted an unsuccessful test of the Rs-28 Sarmat intercontinental missile, which allegedly ended in failure. The missile possibly exploded inside of the missile silo, causing a large crater and severe damage to the test site. The failure may have occurred during the missile's refueling process. So the Sarmat strategic missile complex officially entered combat duty on September 1st, 2028. However, it has experienced at least four failed tests, with only one successful launching occurring in April 2022. The Rs-28 Sarmat missile is a key component of Russia's strategic nuclear modernization program. So, very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that topic. And now let's head to the Russian-Lithuanian border at Kaliningrad. So if we zoom in here, we can see these two bridges. And during the past 24 hours, we've gotten like a small conflicts that have been happening in the Russian-Lithuanian border. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see that the Lithuanians raised the flag of Ukraine on their side of the border, kind of showing off to the Russians. So the Russians have replied with a huge Z, and also raised Wagner flags and the flags of VDV. So very interesting news. There's a bit of a conflict that's happening on this side of the border. So let's keep watching that, and let's see what this turns into. We've also got news that Russia and Belarus's deputy defense ministers both had meetings and conferences. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we've got on photos that was released of this meeting. So there wasn't that much that was actually done in this meeting. They both discussed in their meeting an exchange of experience in defense and civil infrastructures, and they also said that Belarus and Russia will be further developing cooperation in many more sectors. So I'll keep you updated on that. Now let's head to Ukraine, where we've got news that Zelensky refutes claims on 80,000 Ukrainian military casualties. The Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky has refuted the Wall Street Journal's report, which claims that Ukraine's military has lost up to 80,000 soldiers. Zelensky stated that the actual number is much lower. And we've also got news, probably the biggest news today, is that Zelensky is arriving and has already arrived in the US in an C-17 military transport aircraft, which I don't know really why they picked that aircraft. But Zelensky has arrived in the US to explain his plan for victory. So the victory plan that Zelensky has been talking about is about to be presented to Joe Biden, and I have no doubt that we'll be discussing this in the next video. So the full results of Zelensky's meeting with Joe Biden is going to be the next video. So make sure you subscribe and like to keep tuned what's going to happen. But we've also got news in his meeting and his landing in the US already. President Volodymyr Zelensky has already visited an army ammunition plant in Pennsylvania, where production of 155mm shells has significantly increased over the past year. Now let's get back into Ukraine. So we've also got news that the Ukrainian authorities are negotiating to receive from Western partners, in addition to the F-16 aircraft, the Gripen aircraft, and the Eurofighter Typhoon fighters. This was announced by the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Rustem Umerov. So a lot of developments is happening, and the biggest one, as we just stated, that Ukraine is also looking forward for the Gripen aircraft and the Eurofighter Typhoon fighters. So very big news, and I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from Umerov, the defense minister of Ukraine, that Ukraine has the capacity to produce several million drones annually. The head of the Ministry of Defense noted that this year, Kiev, so Ukraine, will purchase more than 1 million drones, and next year Ukraine will produce several times more drones. So, very interesting news. North Korea is the biggest problem for Ukraine among all of Russia's allies, says the chief Budanov. So, very interesting developments. We've also got news coming from the UN Secretary's General Assistant that it will take apparently 100 years to completely demine Ukraine using traditional methods. So this was stated by the UN Secretary General's assistant. And we've also gotten some overall statistics of this week. That's in this week, Russia has apparently launched 900 guided air bombs and over 400 Shahed drones and nearly 30 missiles of various types at Ukraine. We've also got news coming from Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. So the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban wants a complete halt to migration to the EU. Viktor Orban stated that in the recent elections results and political developments prove that the European people have had enough of terrorist attacks and parallel societies. The winds of change are here, Orban said on social media. So the Hungarian Prime Minister wants a complete halt to migration to the EU. Now let's head to Germany, where we've got news coming from Volkswagen. So the supplier of parts for Volkswagen, WKW, has gone bankrupt. The company employs about 3,800 people worldwide. So the supplier of Volkswagen has gone bankrupt, and we'll just have to see what this has effect on the car industry. Now let's head to the French President Macron. The French President Macron stated that after the war in Ukraine, Europe will have to rethink its relationship with Russia and consider a new form of European organization. Now let's head to Pope Francis. So we've got news coming from Pope Francis that he cancels his audience due to flu-like symptoms ahead of a European trip. The Vatican has announced the precautionary measures just days before the Pope's planned visit to Belgium and Luxembourg, scheduled for later this week. Despite the minor illness, the Pope is still expected to embark on his European journey, starting with the visit to Luxembourg on Thursday. So Pope Francis will still be visiting Luxembourg and Belgium when he gets better, but we've got news that Pope Francis is sick right now, and I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from Portugal. So Portugal is battling unprecedented wildfires. The EU country is facing its most severe wildfire season on record, with over 100 fires raging across the nation. Despite efforts to prevent such a scenario, the blaze has erupted with an unusual intensity, leading to the deaths of at least 2 people and injuring dozens. The situation remains critical in Portugal's north and centre, prompting authorities to arrest at least 14 people on suspicion of arson. And I'll keep you updated on that. Now let's head to Israel, and it seems that war is still on the horizon. So the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conducted a speech where he stated within this speech that in a few days we inflicted a sequence of blows on Hezbollah/Lebanon that they did not imagine, and they didn't understand the message. I assure you they will. We're determined to return our residents in the north safely to their homes. No country can tolerate shooting at its cities, and we won't either. We'll do whatever it takes to restore security, Netanyahu said. So, big statements. We've also got news coming from Lebanon that Lebanese citizens now received calls from the IDF to evacuate their homes. So people were getting phone calls from random numbers, and apparently this is coming from the IDF, so the Israeli Defense Forces, to evacuate their homes. So it seems that if this is true, and this is the actual Israeli government speaking, then it seems that something is about to happen. And this comes where China is now urging its citizens to leave Israel immediately, and also England, we talked about yesterday, has also advised its citizens to leave immediately, and actually offering an air transport to actually take its citizens back to the United Kingdom. And we've also got news coming from the Prime Minister of Lebanon. He stated that we are now in an open war with Israel, and I hope things do not escalate. The Iranian Foreign Ministry has also commented that Israel seeks to involve Iran and the rest of its parties, especially the US, in the circle of war. So Iran is blaming Israel for trying to start war with Iran and the US. We've also got news that impacts on the border and deep inside Lebanon is happening. So if we can just see here, the Lebanon has, well, Hezbollah struck back. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, you can see Hezbollah apparently shooting rockets into the northern parts of Israel. And Israel is also striking back at Hezbollah very, very strongly. So there's just so many videos that I just can't go over. But we've gotten so much videos about strikes between the two countries. It seems that this is becoming a very hot war. So I'll keep you updated on that. Now let's head to Kenya, where we've got news that Kenya is to send at least 600 more police officers to Haiti. So Kenya has pledged to send 600 more police officers to Haiti in the coming weeks to help fight gangs controlling much of the capital. So very interesting news. So Kenya is going to send at least 600 police officers to help Haiti control its gangs and fights in the capital city of Haiti. Now let's head to Iran. So we had news yesterday and we talked about how Iran held a military parade in the the anniversary of the Iraq and Iran war. So we talked about yesterday how Iran released and showed us the new Jihad missile that Iran has produced and the Shahed 136B drone. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, Iran has just released high quality images of its new ballistic missile, Jihad, capable of striking targets up to distances of 1,000 kilometers, and the Shahed 136 drone, which can travel up to 4,000 kilometers according to Iranian claims. So big news, and these are the new equipment. Now let's head to Sri Lanka. We've got news that a left-leaning party has just won the presidential elections in Sri Lanka. So, a left-leaning political Anura Kumara has won the Sri Lankan presidential elections after a historic second round of counting. So, no candidate won more than 50% of the total votes in the first round. Therefore, there had to be a second vote in the presidential elections. And in the second vote, the left-leaning political leader has won the presidential elections in Sri Lanka. Despite its left-leaning views, the Prime Minister of India also congratulates the new president of Sri Lanka on his victory in the Sri Lankan presidential elections. Sri Lanka holds a special place in India's neighbourhood first policy, and the Prime Minister of India also looks forward to working closely with the Sri Lankan president to further strengthen cooperation between the two countries, said Prime Minister Modi on his X post. We've also got news coming from the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations. So the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations delivers over 35 tons of humanitarian aid to Vietnam. President Putin ordered the ministry to assist the Vietnamese in a recent damage caused by the recent typhoon that hit Vietnam. The aid consists of food supplies, first aid, and mobile generators and power stations. Now let's head to the US, which I think we talked about it yesterday, but we'll just mention it again. So the US is bolstering its naval and military presence near Alaska in a response of an increased Russian and Chinese activity in the region, as reported by Politico. Over the past month, the US has deployed another destroyer near Alaska's coast, while Army units armed with long-range missile systems have landed on the remote Alaskan island. Fighter jets and other aircraft stationed in Alaska have also been put on high alert. These actions followed a series of Russian air operations in the Alaskan and joint naval exercises between Russia and China near Japan. In a response, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov emphasized that Russia is prepared to defend its Arctic interests, and Russia has also put its military aircraft on alert. And so there's a bit of a standoff going on with its Alaskan with the Alaskan front. So very interesting news. Now let's head to the last news coming today. So the former US President Donald Trump and the current presidential candidate says that he will not run in 2028 if he loses the current presidential race. Donald Trump has stated. So if Donald Trump were to lose this next election, he will not be running in a next election. We've also got news that Elon Musk invites the El Salvador president to tour Tesla's mega factory. So apparently, according to Elon Musk, they talked about a lot of the nature of reality, future of humanity, and how technology and like AI and robots will affect the world. So interesting meeting. So very interesting news. And that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Noncy News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.